Sunlight, dappled and bright, it danced through the leaves, creating a mesmerizing pattern on the forest floor. It filtered through the dense canopy of the ancient oak forest, painting the forest floor in a mosaic of light and shadow. The interplay of light and dark was like nature's own artwork, ever-changing and captivating. Birdsong filled the air, a cheerful melody that echoed through the stillness. Each note seemed to tell a story, a tale of the forest's timeless beauty and serenity. The air was crisp, carrying the scent of damp earth and pine needles. It was invigorating, a reminder of the purity and freshness of nature. It was a perfect morning for a solitary walk. The kind of morning that makes you feel alive, connected to the world around you. The path was a rocky one, uneven and treacherous in places. Each step required careful navigation, a dance with the earth beneath my feet. I navigated the terrain cautiously, my boots crunching on fallen leaves and twigs. The sound was a comforting reminder of the season, autumn in full swing. The further I ventured into the woods, the denser the foliage became, the sunlight struggling to penetrate. It was as if the forest was wrapping me in its embrace, a cocoon of green and shadow. Stillness settled, replacing the earlier symphony of birdsong with an unsettling silence. The quiet was profound, almost tangible, as if the forest itself was holding its breath. A misplaced step, loose gravel gave way beneath my feet. My heart raced as I tried to regain my balance. I lost my balance, tumbling down a steep incline, branches scraping at my skin. The world spun around me, a blur of green and brown. Pain shot through my ankle as I landed hard on the forest floor. I winced, clutching my ankle, the sharp sting making it hard to think. I lay there for a moment, catching my breath, the air thick with the smell of damp earth. The forest seemed to close in around me, its presence both comforting and overwhelming. And something else, something foul, a scent that didn't belong, a hint of decay that sent a shiver down my spine. What could it be? Struggling to my feet, I surveyed my surroundings. The fall had taken me deeper into the woods, off the familiar path. Disorientation gripped me. The air hung heavy, thick with a cloying sweetness that turned my stomach, the smell of decay. It was then I noticed it. Partially hidden beneath a tangle of fallen branches lay a shape, a human shape. My breath caught in my throat, my heart pounding against my ribs. Fear, cold and sharp, pierced through the initial shock. I stumbled towards the figure, drawn by a morbid curiosity I couldn't explain. Closer now. Details began to emerge from the shadows, clothing, ragged and torn, skin, discolored and stretched taut across bones, a face, half hidden, frozen in a silent scream. The stench was overpowering now, a putrid assault on my senses. Nausea surged through me. My stomach churned, threatening to revolt. I stumbled back, tripping over a fallen log. The world spun. It was a body, a decomposing corpse, lying forgotten beneath the boughs of the silent forest. Panic seized me. My mind raced, thoughts disjointed and frantic. I had to get help. I fumbled for my phone, my fingers trembling. No signal. Of course not. The dense foliage acted like a cage, trapping me with the dead. Desperation clawed at me. I was alone, alone with the dead in the suffocating stillness of the woods. The shrill ring of a phone cut through the silence. My phone, rescue. But the voice on the other end wasn't the comforting tone I craved. It was official, clipped, the voice of authority. The police. Instructions were barked. Stay put. Don't touch anything. Mark the location. The weight of their words settled on me, heavy and cold. They didn't understand, didn't grasp the sheer terror of being tethered to death in the heart of the woods. The sun began its slow descent, casting long, eerie shadows that danced around me like phantoms. The air grew colder, the silence more profound. Every rustle of leaves, every snap of a twig sent a jolt of fear through me. Twilight bled into darkness. The woods transformed, shadows deepening into lurking monsters, the silence punctuated by unseen movements. The smell of decay intensified, a constant reminder of the lifeless form nearby. I sat huddled beneath a towering oak, My phone clutched in my hand, its battery a dwindling beacon of hope. The corpse, now shrouded in darkness, felt closer, a palpable presence that pressed against my sanity. The waiting was the worst part. The agonizing stretch of time, punctuated by the frantic chirping of crickets and the distant hoot of an owl. Each sound felt like a violation of the stillness, a whisper of something sinister approaching. Exhaustion eventually claimed me. The weight of the day's events pressed heavily on my shoulders, and I could no longer fight the pull of sleep. Sleep, when it came, was a restless torment. My mind refused to find peace, trapped in a cycle of haunting visions and unsettling dreams. Images flashed behind my eyelids, the contorted face of the corpse twisted in agony and despair, the accusing stare of empty sockets, as if demanding answers I could not provide. The relentless advance of decay, a reminder of the inevitable passage of time and the fragility of life. I woke in a cold sweat, my heart pounding in my chest, the stench of death clinging to me like a shroud. The stench of death clinging to me like a shroud. It was as if the very air around me was tainted with the essence of decay. The nightmares continued night after night. Each time I closed my eyes, I was pulled back into the same horrific scenes. The woods became my tormentor, a living nightmare that I could not escape. The dead man, my unwelcome companion. His presence was a constant, oppressive weight on my mind. His face, frozen in a silent scream, haunted my waking hours, a constant reminder of the fragility of life and the proximity of death. A constant reminder of the fragility of life and the proximity of death. The line between the living and the dead seemed to blur. Even in the safety of my own home, I couldn't escape. The memories and the scent of the woods followed me everywhere. The scent of the woods, damp earth and decay lingered, clinging to my clothes, my hair, my skin. Lingered, clinging to my clothes, my hair, my skin. No matter how much I tried to wash it away, it remained. My hair, my skin. It was as if the forest itself had seeped into my very being, leaving an indelible mark. It was as if the forest itself had seeped into my soul, leaving an indelible mark, a mark that I feared would never fade. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. The passage of time felt surreal, as if I was trapped in a never-ending loop of uncertainty and dread. The police investigation remained inconclusive, the dead man's identity a mystery. Despite their efforts, no clues surfaced, and the case grew colder with each passing day. I returned to my life, but it was a hollow existence. Every step I took felt heavy, burdened by the weight of what I had witnessed. The world moved on, but I was stuck in that moment. The vibrant colors of the world seemed muted, the sounds of joy and laughter jarring against the oppressive silence that had taken root within me. It was as if a veil had been drawn over my senses, dulling everything. I told no one of the nightmares, the haunting feeling of being watched. Each night I would wake up drenched in sweat, my heart pounding, the images of that day replaying in my mind. The words felt trapped in my throat, choked by the fear that lingered like a shadow. I wanted to scream, to tell someone, anyone, but the fear of not being believed kept me silent. How could I explain the unexplainable, the chilling certainty that I had brought something back from the woods? It was an invisible weight, a presence that I could feel but not see. I was a prisoner in my own mind, haunted by the memory of that day. The forest, once a place of solace, had become a source of terror, a constant reminder of my own vulnerability. The sun-dappled path, the sudden fall, the overwhelming stench of death. It was a sensory overload, a moment that shattered my perception of reality. It was a scene forever etched into my memory, a constant reminder of my own mortality. No matter how hard I tried to forget, the images and sensations would always come rushing back, unbidden and relentless. The woods beckoned. Even as I tried to avoid them, their pull was too strong to resist. I found myself drawn back to that place, compelled by a morbid fascination I couldn't comprehend. The path was overgrown now, reclaimed by nature. The air was thick with the scent of pine and damp earth, but the cloying sweetness of decay was absent. Yet, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. every step scrutinized by unseen eyes. The woods held their secrets close, the wind whispering through the trees like hushed voices. I searched for answers that remained elusive, my footsteps echoing in the stillness, a lonely rhythm against the backdrop of the forest's silent symphony. I never learned the dead man's name, never discovered how he met his end in the solitude of the woods. But I knew, with chilling certainty, that he was not alone. The forest held the memories of countless seasons, countless lives lived and lost beneath its ancient boughs. And somewhere beneath the carpet of fallen leaves and decaying logs, his bones lay undisturbed, a silent testament to the fragility of life and the enduring power of death. The woods, I realized, never truly forget. The fear remained, a constant companion. It lurked in the shadows, whispered on the wind, and haunted my dreams. I was left forever changed, marked by the chilling encounter in the woods, a living testament to the haunting truth that some things are best left undisturbed.